What if the headaches, the sudden taste for different foods, the nights when time stretches and then snaps back, the friends who disappear, what if all of that is not a problem to fix, but a signal that you are already stepping into a different world? Seth, as channeled by Jane Roberts, speaks plainly. You are not simply becoming something new in some distant future. You are already flickering into the fifth dimension. You are not broken, you are shifting. If this sentence lands in you like a cold, astonishing recognition, leave a one-line comment now. I'm already in 5D. Do that, then stay with me. There is more to hear, and there is a practice you can begin this very morning. Seth teaches that our experience of reality depends on what we are perceiving, believing, and expecting. He frames dimensions not as distant planets, but as overlapping frequencies, ways of being that coexist in the same space but vibrate differently. In the simplest terms you can hold in your hands, 3D is separation and density, linear time and survival thinking. 4D is transitional, emotions, memories, dreamlike blending. 5D is unity, malleability, simultaneity, and a lighter body-mind experience. Many modern readers call it ascension or shifting to higher consciousness. Seth's tone, it's not ahead of you. It presses against the old reality now. You are walking its threshold. A short, necessary note before we go deeper. The symptoms and strange experiences described here are framed as metaphysical interpretations and reported channeled phenomena. They are not medical diagnoses. If you have worrying physical or mental health symptoms, please consult an appropriate health professional. This material is meant to validate what you feel and offer gentle practices for stabilization, not to replace professional care. Listen to these signs as a kind of inventory. You do not need to have all of them. Any one of these can be enough to say, something fundamental is shifting in me. Seth calls them confirmations. Evidence that your perception is beginning to align with a different kind of reality. There are 10 common confirmations many people report. For each, I will give a short example, an interpretation, and a small immediate response you can try. 1. Unexplained physical sensations and body changes. A woman I know developed a sudden sensitivity to loud crowds. Restaurants that used to be bearable became unbearable. Noise felt like a physical ache. Another person reported ringing in the ears and brief flashes of light behind closed eyes. People often describe heaviness that lifts one day and returns the next, or a feeling that certain parts of the body are unfurling. Seth says the body is adjusting to a finer frequency. It moves like a radio retuning itself. This is not an illness to be shamed. It's a recalibration. Listen to these signs as a kind of inventory. You do not need to have all of them. Any one of these can be enough to say, something fundamental is shifting in me. Seth calls them confirmations, evidence that your perception is beginning to align with a different kind of reality. There are 10 common confirmations many people report. For each, I will give a short example, an interpretation, and a small immediate response you can try. 1. Unexplained physical sensations and body changes. A woman I know developed a sudden sensitivity to loud crowds. Restaurants that used to be bearable became unbearable. Noise felt like a physical ache. Another person reported ringing in the ears and brief flashes of light behind closed eyes. People often describe heaviness that lifts one day and returns the next, or a feeling that certain parts of the body are unfurling. Seth says the body is adjusting to a finer frequency. It moves like a radio retuning itself. This is not an illness to be shamed. It's a recalibration. What to do now? When the sensation rises, place both hands over your heart. Breathe slowly for 5 deep breaths and say aloud, I allow my body to open without fear. Drink a small glass of room temperature water afterward to ground. 2. Sudden changes in appetite and food sensitivities. You wake up craving raw fruit after decades of preferring heavy meals. Or you find that processed sugar leaves you jittery and anxious in ways it never did before. Some report a switch to lighter foods or even a decreased appetite as the physical vessel requires different fuel. Seth explains this as resonance. As your energetic frequency changes, different foods support your system better. Example: a man who was a lifelong coffee drinker found that coffee became corrosive to his mood. Tea and water restored harmony. Mini tip: honor the change. Bless your food briefly, touch your plate and say, "I receive what serves me now," before eating. Observe without harsh judgment. 3. Time distortion, time stretching, or looping. It is common to enter a conversation and later wonder how 15 minutes vanished, or to feel evenings are both long and brief. A courier once told me he had driven hours and felt like he had been gone minutes. Seth frames this as evidence that linear time is loosening at your edge of awareness. 5D experience compresses and expands time because it operates more in simultaneity than in sequential cause and effect. Practical response: when time distorts, pause and write a single sentence. Right now, I am present. Keep it tangible. Presence is the anchor. 4. Vivid, symbolic, or prophetic dreams. You may start receiving dreams that are unusually lucid or rich with symbolism that later play out in waking life. A young woman dreamed of a bridge collapsing and then, days later, watched a project at her job collapse. The outcome was different because she saw possibilities she had previously missed. Seth suggests dreams are a meeting place where your soul gives you rehearsals in the new frequency. They are not always literal, often they are metaphoric blueprints. Mini practice: keep a small notebook by your bed. Upon waking, write one phrase describing the feeling tone of the dream. Ask yourself, where in my waking life is this feeling present? 5. Intolerances to low vibration environments or relationships. You find you can't breathe in places that used to feel like home. Repetitive negativity, gossip, violence, or constant cynicism now drain you faster. Friends who once grounded you now trigger deep fatigue. A man in his 60s stopped attending family gatherings because the energy exhausted him. After a time, he discovered that the relief permitted him to create different social circles. Seth's way of saying it: your frequency repels what is out of resonance. This separation is not punishment, it is sorting. Response: practice a brief shielding phrase. I filter out what does not serve my highest growth, and then exhale visibly, imagining light pressing away the heavy energy. 6. Frequent synchronicities and meaningful coincidences. You think of a song and it plays on the radio. You meet someone who will change your life. These are not random chance, according to Seth. When your observation begins to match a different field of possibility, the field replies in patterns. The world becomes threaded with meaning because your attention acts as a magnet. Example: an artist begins seeing the number 1111 repeatedly and, in a week, connects with a curator through a chance encounter. Try this. When a synchronicity occurs, pause, breathe, and say, I notice, I am part of this. 7. Direct knowing, sudden inner downloads and certainty without evidence. There is a quality of absolute quiet knowing that arrives not as an argument but as a whisper that feels like a fact. You might suddenly know the next line of a song or the solution to a problem. Seth clarifies that as your vibrational match shifts, information streams in differently, less through analysis and more through recognition. These downloads are not ego boasting, they are inner orientation. Mini tip: when a download comes, nod inwardly and commit it to one external action. Write a note, make a call, or set a timer for a follow-through. 8. Profound loneliness coupled with spontaneous bliss. Many report feeling unusually alone, disconnected from old friends, while simultaneously experiencing moments of overwhelming unity and joy. This polarity can terrify people. Why the emptiness and the unexpected ecstasy? Seth explains that leaving old patterns often means temporarily losing your map of social anchors. Simultaneously, glimpses of unity remind you of home. The loneliness is not a verdict, it is a purging necessary for new community to form. Simple practice: allow the loneliness to be felt without story. Sit with one deep breath and say, I am seen by the wider self. 9. A heightened dream of meaning. Life opens into symbolic mission. Your life begins to feel like a story with urgent themes. Tasks may shift from pursuit of external rewards to inner alignment. Someone who spent years in sales woke one morning and could no longer sell from fear. Instead, they began coaching others in soulful work, and their income eventually reconfigured. Seth's framing: as perception shifts, motives clarify. Your soul is aligning with what matters beyond survival. Response: ask yourself daily, what would I do if I felt infinitely supported? And write one small step. 10. Spontaneous experiences of unity, bliss, or the light body feeling. This is the taste of what 5D feels like: a sudden washing away of fear, a sensation of being made of light, or the irresistible urge to dissolve into kindness. These moments can come in nature, in music, in quiet, or without any external trigger. Seth says these experiences are previews, invitations to remember a different baseline. They are not miracles that must be chased. They are proof of what is available. Grounding response: when the bliss appears, place hands on your lower belly, breathe into the sensation, and say, I house this light. Many people hear these 10 confirmations and find their personal list overlaps. Others have only 2 or 3. Seth's tone is compassionate. You are not expected to tick every box. The presence of even one sign means your perception is becoming porous to a new reality. You are flickering. Now, why do these flickers feel inconsistent? Why one day you move fluidly through the world and the next day you are exhausted and disoriented? Seth uses an image like tuning forks. 3D and 5D vibrate at different frequencies. They are not separate places to travel to. They're conditions of perception layered upon the same backdrop. When your personal frequency shifts, you catch the harmonics of 5D. But the old programming, habitual fear, social conditioning, unresolved beliefs, acts like a weight that tethers you back. The result is oscillation. Sometimes the old belief system, like a worn track, drags you into the familiar groove. Other times you stray into the new and the world answers differently. Seth emphasizes the role of observation. Your attention and belief shape what you experience. This is not a blame game. It is practical physics of consciousness in Seth's framework. We collapse possibility into experience by observing. The less you identify with the terrified small self and the more you practice the reality you are becoming, the more consistently you will perceive 5D. In short, we will see it when we begin to believe it in ways that change our habits of attention. There is also another voice in contemporary research that corroborates similar patterns. Dolores Cannon, a hypnotherapist who explored past life and metaphysical material, reported recurring physical and social phenomena among her clients that echo these signs: changes in eating, altered time perception, and social separation. I name her work here not to equate the teachings, but to point out that many channels and researchers report convergent data. Consider her observations as corroborative testimony: different methods, similar patterns. So, how do you stabilize? When an agent moves between frequencies irregularly, it is helpful to create practices that anchor attention, body, and nervous system. Seth offers practical, ritualized steps that can become your daily skeleton. Build these into your mornings and evenings and repeat them with kind consistency. Here is a 5-step stabilization protocol you can begin now. Each step includes a scriptable line and a sensory anchor. Use them daily for at least 2 weeks and see which ones stick. Step 1. Morning activation, the heart-centering declaration. Upon waking, before checking your phone, sit on the edge of the bed, place both hands over your heart, and take 3 slow breaths. Feel the weight of your palms, the temperature of your skin. Say aloud, I am present in this body. I choose to move with love today. Then add, I remember that I am both human and more than human. Keep your voice low and kind. Feel the chest expand as you breathe into the words. This small ritual rewires the first attention of the day toward the frequency you wish to inhabit. Optional micro practice. After the declaration, lift one hand and touch the crown of your head, imagining a small beam of warm light entering. Hold for 5 breaths. This sensory movement helps train the body to expect higher resonance. Step 2. Hydration ritual. Conscious water intake. Water is a tool for rebalancing the nervous system and feels symbolically potent in channeled work. Seth advises making water a sacrament. In the morning and throughout the day, hold a glass of water with both hands for a few seconds before drinking. Visualize light moving through the glass into your body. Say, "This water aligns me with clarity and light." Drink slowly, savoring temperature and texture. The action of blessing and the attention you give are what rewire habit into ritual. Variation. If you are sensitive to temperature, prefer room temperature water and add a slice of lemon if it supports you. Hydration does not promise ascension, but conscious drinking supports physical grounding while your perception shifts. Step 3. Blessing food, the simple gratitude pause. Before each meal, pause and place one hand on your plate or cup. You can close your eyes or soften your gaze. Say, "May this food nourish my body and my higher knowing." Blessings do not need to be elaborate. The purpose is to bring attention and intention into eating, transforming automatic consumption into conscious reception. This small shift helps align your physical intake with your changing energetic needs. If you are in a hurry, even a single breath of gratitude before eating is enough. The repeated act retrains the mind to pair nourishment with sacredness. Step 4. Fear release technique, a short embodied practice. When fear or old identity patterns pull you back into 3D, use a 5-breath release. Stand or sit with feet planted. Inhale through the nose, lifting shoulders slightly. Hold for 2 counts. Exhale through the mouth with a soft sigh while shaking your hands gently, a light, intentional shake that feels safe. Say, "I release what binds me to the old story." Repeat 5 times. The movement, vocal release, and breath together repattern the nervous system more quickly than words alone. You can adapt by tapping the chest softly or stamping a small rhythm with your feet. Anything that enacts release. Step 5. Evening integration. Review and celebrate. Before sleeping, take 5 minutes to review moments from the day when you noticed a 5D quality, a synchronicity, a moment of calm, an inner knowing. Say aloud 1 sentence per moment. At 2:15, I felt connected to my work. And with a closing statement, I am integrating these shifts. I rest into more of who I am. Then place a hand over your belly and breathe slowly, keeping the breath long enough to feel the abdomen expand. This evening ritual consolidates waking experiences into a narrative of growth. A deeper optional practice. Once per week, write a short paragraph of gratitude for a lesson the old world taught you. This helps honor what is lost without clinging to it. Practice these 5 steps with gentle repetition. Remember, ritual matters because repetition shapes attention. The content of a ritual creates a new habit of perception. That is the engine of stabilization. What about the social and practical fallout of shifting? Many fear losing partners, jobs, and communities, and they should be prepared. Seth's message here is humane. As your frequency changes, some things no longer fit. People who were held together by convenience or shared belief systems may naturally diverge. Jobs built on survival instincts or on patterns that harm your alignment may begin to shake. This separation is not moral condemnation, it is alignment. Imagine 2 timelines running parallel, one where you remain in patterns that prioritize survival of the small self, and another where you prioritize soul alignment. The 2 cannot sustain the same close proximity indefinitely. That sometimes looks like loss, friendships dissolving, families disappointed, roles changing. You may grieve. Grief is a healthy response and should be honored. Seth reminds us, grief is not a sign of failure. It is evidence of attachment to a form that served you in a different frequency. Allow grief to be felt without letting it dictate identity. Practical guidance when relationships change. Offer clear boundaries with kindness. You do not need to exit abruptly or to create dramatic scenes. Say what you feel and what you need in simple language. I value you. I also need more calm and less drama right now. If distance grows, practice releasing with phrases like, I wish you well on your path. Protect your energy without inventing blame. Here are some compassionate pointers for common social scenarios. If a partner resists your change, seek open dialogue and present your practices as yours, not as a demand on them. If friends drift, allow space for mutual growth. Some friendships will return in new forms. If a job becomes incompatible, begin a practical plan in small steps. Stabilize income, build skills aligned with your new priorities, and experiment with boundary setting at work. Seth emphasizes community. A new circle will form. It may be smaller, less attached to outer markers of status, and more resonant with your priorities. Seek like-minded people and places that feel sincere. Workshops, online groups, local meetups focused on conscious living. But also remember that you can be the anchor of gentle, real conversation that does not require full belief from the other person. You may also notice an ethical shift. Your actions feel more guided by inner resonance than by social obligation. This is a healthy maturation, but it can feel lonely if everyone around you remains bound to the old expectations. Keep practices that connect you to the wider field, meditation, creative expression, time in nature, to sustain the inner sense of belonging. A few quick cautions about claims you might hear. Some teachers promise immediate physical immortality or guaranteed material windfalls as a result of ascension. Seth's voice is not an advert, it is a framework. The experiences reported here are not universal guarantees. Likewise, metaphysical claims about DNA activating dormant strands should be read as interpretive language used by channels and researchers to describe subjective experiences, not as settled scientific fact. If you are offered treatments or products that promise instant physical miracles, approach with skepticism and consult professionals. If at any point the physical or psychological symptoms overwhelm you, intense pain, prolonged disorientation, suicidal thinking, seek medical or mental health help immediately. These practices are supportive, not curative. Now let us return to the matter of belief and consolidation. Seth says, practice what you wish to believe. That does not mean pretending. It means taking small, credible actions that alter patterns of attention. If you want to be more consistently in 5D, train your routines to reflect it. The 5-step protocol is precisely such training. To help you anchor, here are a few micro practices you can weave into daily life, each 1 minute long and easy to remember. The 1-minute light reset. Place palms over your cheekbones, breathe in for 4 counts, out for 6, imagine a warm golden light sliding down from crown to heart. Say, eyes steady and to light, and open eyes. The 2-step boundary. If someone triggers you, take 2 steps away physically or 2 deep breaths and state internally, this moment is not mine to carry. Pause for a beat, then choose your response. The 5-breath gratitude. Before sleep, inhale for 5 counts, exhale for 5, and name 3 small things you observed that felt aligned. These are not magic spells, they are anchors that rewire response patterns. Let me give you a few short real-life vignettes so you can feel how these dynamics play out. A teacher named Lila began to experience intense fatigue and a sudden allergy to perfumed lotions. She also started dreaming of oceans and felt an inexplicable, expansive joy while grading papers. She honored the fatigue by reducing social obligations and shifted her diet slightly, adding more fruit and water. Within months, she reported her dreams becoming clearer, her relationships reconfiguring toward students who resonated more deeply, and a calm that made her teaching more present. Lila did not escape into utopia. She lost a social circle that thrived on gossip and gained quieter, truer friendships. A delivery driver, Mark, noticed small miracles. A spare tire appeared when he needed it. A stranger offered him a job lead when his hours were cut, and he began to sense whether a client needed compassion or space. He started to say a short blessing before work and a gratitude line after. Mark's world did not become problem-free, but he found that his decisions felt more aligned and his stress reduced. A mother, Sarah, woke to a kind of inner ache. She could no longer tolerate the negative talk on a family group chat. She set a boundary. She limited her participation and created a small, separate weekly call with one cousin who felt gentle. The family labeled her as withdrawn for a time. She grieved and also discovered a new local circle that nurtured her. Over 2 years, Sarah's life rearranged. She didn't abandon responsibility, but she chose where to invest presence. These stories are ordinary because your life changes ordinarily. Ascension is not a theatrical remake. It's a slow redirection of attention. Before I close, I will offer a short, simple daily affirmation you can use as a repeated reprogramming line. Say this aloud each morning after the heart-centered activation. I am more than my past patterns. I am waking into a life of unity, ease, and clarity. I allow new ways of being to take root in me. I am steady. I am kind. I am aligned. You can make it your own. The words matter less than the feeling behind them. Say them slowly, feel the words in your chest, and allow your body to accept them as a new truth. Now, in Seth's voice, spoken with gentle authority. You are a multidimensional being. The world you experience responds to the field you hold. Practice steadiness. Practice kindness to the self. You are not going mad, you are remembering. If today you felt the first chord of recognition, let that recognition be a commitment. At the beginning, I asked you to write, "I'm already in 5D" if this message spoke to you. Now, if you are ready to step into a committed practice, write in the comments, "I accept that I'm in 5D," and choose one step from the 5-step protocol to begin tomorrow. Commit to it for 1 week and observe. That will be your laboratory. A final word on compassion. As your reality shifts, you will meet all manners of resistance, from within, from loved ones, and from systems built to preserve the old order. Keep kindness at the center. You are not called to force others to change, only to be an example of what a different life might look like. Be patient with yourself. Celebrate tiny victories. Trust that stability comes through repeated, humble practice rather than dramatic leaps. Seth closes this transmission with a short, calming affirmation. Repeat it now, aloud if you can, placing your hand on your heart. I am here. I remember. I open to love. I steady in light. Carry that phrase like a small stone in your packet. Use it when noise threatens to drown out your inner sense. Return to the 5 steps tomorrow morning and the next day. Build a quiet rhythm. Over time, you will find flickers lengthening into longer days in the field you are choosing. If this message met you where you are, write, "I accept that I'm in 5D," and state which step you'll begin tomorrow. Commit publicly in the comments to create small accountability. Walk gently. You are not alone in this transition. There are others awakening beside you. Explore more of Seth's teachings and the wider field if it helps, but always bring what you read back through your own discernment and heart. You are not who you think you are in the limited way you have been told. You are vaster, more flexible, and more capable of anchoring new realities than you allow. Begin with 1 breath, 1 glass of water, 1 blessing. The rest will unfold.